Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Keith, your GM, your Keeper of Secrets, and we are recording, doing Echoes of Elsewhere, and we are no longer in Kansas anymore. We are in the lands of Barovia, the village of Barovia, getting to know the locals, and with us is Vince Pascal, Professor Gregor, Ivan Petrovich III, Blake Emberlich, and Dr. Elliot Knight. Except none of them are really with us now, because now we have our alternative, our D&D related characters that are on the scene. And currently we have arrived in town. We have argued with an old woman over the quality of her pies, and then spent an exceedingly amount of time analyzing the quality of the pies for Ivan to take a bite and say, "Pooey, not so great." Vince and Blake have gone to the tavern. They have met with Ismark, who you have learned is the burgermeister of the town. And he's looking for someone to escort his sister, who doesn't sound like she's so willing to be escorted because she has concerns about Father Donovich, who is not answering the door, not coming out, and she hears sighs of crying and screams coming from inside the church. And she wants her brother to do something. And her brother is choosing not to.
I think we're choosing to.
Well, we're gonna go check on this father for her, right? Is that what you wanted to do?
I'm gonna go tell him that we're gonna go do that. And I go up to Ismark and just say, "Look, we overheard your conversation. Your sister's concerned about this priest. Tell me a little bit about that."
Father Donovich used to... He's not opening his door. He's not talking to anybody. Our father is waiting to be buried.
Okay, so you need the priest to perform a service.
And he won't come out. Yes.
Have you heard that? Is the priest? Have you heard the priest's voice? Do we know that he's alive?
Oh yeah, I can hear him in there. I knock on the door. I can hear him. He's sobbing. He's crying. He's cursing. I don't know. He won't answer the door. And I tried to bring him something to eat because he hasn't come out. No one's seen him.
Well, would you like us to try to check on him for you?
Sorry, I didn't get your name, but
I'm Irina, and this is my brother Ismark.
Yes, we've met Ismark.
The burgermeister. Now that my father is gone.
What's a burgermeister?
I'm looking at my group, asking.
Rax racks his brain. Vince has no idea, but Rax is like, someone who, like a mayor, I think.
Oh, I thought it was a chef.
Hey, in some villages, he might be a mayor. In other villagers, it might be like the governor. Here is the burgermeister. They're supposed to make sure that the public services are met. And Ismark lifts his cup up and goes, "They're no worse off today than they were yesterday." And he takes a drink.
But are they any better off?
Sometimes you take what you can.
And what is it exactly that you want to take?
First, as my dear sister has said, we need to see to the priest. And then he looks over at Irina. "And then you agreed to leave?" And she goes, "We'll talk about it afterwards, but first we do this." First we need to see to the priest. Then have my father's body buried properly. And then, dear sister, we have some travel arrangements to make. And she just kind of huffs at him.
Should the priest be unwilling, even after we talk to him, I have a clerical duty and a shovel.
When did your father die?
He died a little over a week ago.
And nobody's buried him.
No, it's laying in his coffin in our house. I see the look on your face and the question you want to ask, and the answer is yes. There are many flowers scattered about our house right now.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be that readable. Let's take care of this.
We'll go talk to this priest for you. Don't you worry. We'll handle it.
Starts walking out of the inn.
Yeah, following.
Following.
Blake leads the way out. It's hard to keep track of time in town. As you look up, trying to look into the sky, look at the passage of the sun, it just looks kind of like it did before. It's dark, it's misty, it's hazy. And now, whether it was just the mention of the body laying in state, or whether it's always been here and just becoming aware of it, there's a smell of rot in the air. You head out of the tavern, look to the right, you see the church. It's on top of a slight rise. There are, as you look at this church, and you see this cemetery laid out behind it, and then you see this cliff rising up behind the church. And your eyes are drawn up the cliff. And you see about 100, maybe 200 feet up, the rough stone becomes worked. And you see these pillars rising up. And there's a tower 300-400 feet up that overlooks the village of Barovia. Work your way to the church. It is obviously weathered. Stone is chipped. It is blackened. There's a bell tower rising up. You see some lights flickering on the bell tower. The only way that you can see those lights being there is there are holes in the roof. There's a fire inside, and the holes in the roof are letting the light go through. You can hear the groaning of wood as you approach. You see a cart not too far from the cemetery, and a coffin is leaning against it, tipped on its side. The foot part of the coffin is laying on the ground and angled upward. You see the doors to the church. There are claw marks dug deep into the front of it. You see black char marks from fires, and you hear a high-pitched scream of anguish echo from within the church.
I think Rax will sprint to try to yank the door open.
You sprint to yank the door open. Make a strength check, please. You can use athletics.
Oh, athletics, good. Let's see. I'm not the strongest puppy, but we'll see what happens. Oh, 16, not bad.
16 is not too bad. You grab hold of the door and you pull on it. You push on it. You knock it back and forth. And what you realize is that the door itself is barred from the inside. If it wasn't barred, you'd be able to push it open, but you are moving it and you can tell that there is some type of bar across the handles on the inside that is keeping the door closed.
I think it is at this point that Father Gregor will approach, reaching into his backpack and remove a crowbar.
When Vince was moving the door, you could see there's a little bit of a gap between the two doors. He was able to get it to move a little bit. Just the bar is in the way.
I see. I think if we work together and set our minds to it.
Yeah, I think I'll continue trying to pull it. You use the crowbar, and maybe everybody else kind of dig in where you can, and we can get this thing open.
With the addition of the crowbar, Vince, you can make another strength check with advantage to see if you can pop this thing open.
Are there any other apparent entrances?
Okay, so that's a 14. That's not better.
That's not better. Blake, you're looking around, and yes, what you see there are some boarded windows along the side. You can see that there are places in the roof where there are holes in it where someone could easily climb up and drop down on the inside.
Are the windows ground level?
It's a little bit above ground level, not super low. So we'll say they're like 3-4 feet above ground level. They're on the ground floor, but they're
on
not-
the ground floor. Yeah. So I think the crowbar would be potentially more usefully used to just break the boards off of the windows and climb through. Then
Before you do that, I like try and peer through and see if I can see between the boards and just look and see what's inside.
Looking through the door or the window?
The window.
You go to a window and you find a small crack and you put your eye up against it. You're looking at the main room of the church. The pews are laid out in lines, and it looks like someone took a hammer to them. They are smashed, tipped over, broken, destroyed. There are splinters everywhere. You see a stocky man with very short gray hair in white and red robes who is kneeling in front of an altar. He's praying and sobbing, and you hear this yell of anguish again.
Do you tell me that you see that?
Yeah, I point that out to everybody. Hey, yeah, I think we should just go ahead and break everything. They clearly
Hang on.
do.
Before we do that, I would like to cast suggestion on that person because I can see him.
He would be within 30 feet.
Okay, so what I do is I suggest a course of activity described in no more than 25 words, which is easy. I just say, open the front door. And it is a, let me see, Wisdom 12. Target must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw.
The priest does get up, and he looks around, and he comes down the hallway toward the front door. And you hear some thudding on the other side. And then the door opens up. And Father Donovich is there, and he's looking a little confused. Who are you, and what are you doing here? Leave me be. And he closes the door.
Oh, I put my foot in the door, so we can't close it all the way.
Make a dexterity check for me. Yeah, you're trying to get your foot in the door before he can close it.
Okay, no, that's a 6. I do not succeed at that unless he's very, very bad at closing doors.
So, does Rax wear shoes?
Oh yeah, he's got big old boots on.
Okay, that's good to know.
They're weirdly shaped because he's got dragon toes, so it's like they kind of flare out at the front for the claws to fit through.
The door closes behind him, and you go to each foot there and just miss getting your toes squished by the door.
Let's try the window.
You're gonna go to a window? Tell me what you're gonna do at this window, Blake.
I'm waiting for Professor Gregor to come over. If he doesn't,
he'll come
over. Okay.
over.
You want
we
to
may.
give this a
Yeah,
try?
I'll break off the boards with the crowbar.
Yeah, Blake and Professor Gregor, you may make an athletics check with advantage. You can either, you can each make an athletics check. You can have one of you make it with advantage, however you want to do it. Just got 2 dice to roll.
My athletics is +3. I have proficiency, so.
I guess we'll both roll. Wait, no.
And I will guide it.
I'll try to give you advantage on it. I am not strong. Never mind.
21.
Professor Gregor gets over the crowbar, and I think this is one of those moments where Professor Gregor is probably trying to figure out like what's the best place to get the crowbar in there. And for some reason, Blake is able to like guide the crowbar. Like, no. You need to put it here, get the right leverage. Like, she seems to really know what she's doing about breaking into this place.
That's not suspicious at all.
And with her guidance, you were able to pop it off with almost no noise whatsoever. Like, on your own, you probably could have broke in there, but it would have been like a bull through a china shop making a lot of noise. But with Blake's help, it is a silent entry through this. You take the boards off with almost no noise at all.
Indeed. And I think the other difference is that Professor Gregor probably wouldn't have the strength to pop just boards off of a thing, but it seems that by just like walking around in heavy metal armor all the time, this version of him is much stronger than the the slightly doddering professor.
How's it feel to be in a stronger body?
It's uncanny. Like it's like the world has grown lighter. You know.
As opposed to Ivan, where the world has grown bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously. I swear on our world, nails are affixed to things in more certain a way.
It's like a 3x3 window.
I hop in.
I'll follow behind.
Struggles up through the window.
I give Ivan a boost.
Oh, thank you. Is there enough room for the steel defender? It's a medium-sized creature, so it's not huge. Okay, good.
Yeah, it can hop. It probably hops through there easier than anyone else. And Father Donovich is looking at. He has grabbed a broom, and he is holding it in front of him like a spear. What are you doing? Breaking into a church? Have you no dignity? Have you no honor or respect? It's the house of the god. Be gone! And he starts swatting at you with the broom. He's starting to swat at Ivan.
Okay, I want to roll persuasion on him. A woman in town whose name is Irina is worried about you because you haven't come out of here in a week, and we're just doing what I suppose you would call a wellness check, and we have no ill intentions. We just want to check on you. So I like to persuade him of that. 25.
That Irina, she's a good girl. She's been checking on me last couple of days. Just not want to talk to anybody. I'm fine.
Yeah, but you've got a job to do.
Father Gregor would like to take this moment to cast a short spell to potentially help us in this situation.
What spell?
The spell is Calm Emotions, and it gives you all immunity to fear and charm, and so makes the hostile people into
A little bit less hostile.
to indifferent, at least.
The Father Donovich puts his broom down and he walks over to the pews, and there's a chunk of wood that's tipped on its side where a pew was shattered and broken, and he sits down on it. Well, you're here already. I guess I might as well hear you out. What do you mean I have work to do?
A father who's died a week ago needs his final rites. So that's one thing. But
Who died?
Really, Irina's father, the Burgermeister.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, I didn't know.
Well, that's
You said a week
obvious.
ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
Has it been a week?
What has happened that has stirred you so? You aren't normally like this. What has driven you to this?
You hear a scream of anguish come echo throughout this church, throughout the building. And when it happens, the father reaches up, puts his hands on his ears, and closes his eyes.
Father, what is that?
It is nothing that you can help with.
You don't know that.
It is my burden to carry.
Let us help.
Can I follow the sound? Or ask the steel defender, because I think it can probably hear better than me. Oh no, maybe not. You can't tell me not to be worried about that. That was ear piercing. And I get up and start walking towards the sound if I can.
Yeah, I do too.
The old priest jumps up and moves as quickly as he can and tries to get in front of you. As you walk down toward the front door, toward where he had closed it. He didn't bar it, by the way. As you go approach the front door, you can see he didn't bar it. He just closed it. But there is the entranceway, and then to the right, there is a closed, smaller door. And he tries to get in front of you, between you and the door. He goes, I'm dealing with it. There's nothing you can do to help.
You are clearly not dealing
Go
with
tell
it.
Irina I'll come to her. I'll come to her, and we can take care of her father in the morning. Just leave me be.
No.
Okay, I'm going to cast command and tell him, which is a one-word command, and I just point to the pew and I say, sit.
And his saving throw is going to be a 14. which is, he passed it. So he goes to move over to it, and he looks at you. And as you realize you're trying to cast a spell on him, all the candles in the church suddenly flare up brightly. And his voice becomes deeper. Don't try that again. This is the house of the Morning Lord, and I will not have you defiling it.
Not trying to defile it, Father, just trying to help.
And he crosses his arms and stands in front of the door. He doesn't seem to be angry, though. The effects of the calm emotion are still in play. So he was annoyed, but almost as quickly as he became annoyed, it quickly passed over him.
May we speak for just a moment? I don't know which of the gods you follow, but surely we can speak.
We are a house of the Morning Lord, the god of sunlight, of brightness, of goodwill.
What has happened here? If someone is sick, can they not be healed? You can't expect us to simply leave someone here in agony.
I see that you are also a servant of those above, although I don't recognize the symbol around your neck.
We are all but tools of the divine.
Not everything can be cured. Some must be endured. Allow me to endure this. I beg you, do not interfere.
Okay, there's one thing about you enduring things, but somebody else is enduring something up there, and that's what our concern is.
At this point, Ivan tells the Steel Defender to seek the sound because the delay is going too long, and that piercing shriek has freaked him out.
The Iron Defender just kind of scoots past the priest, and he looks at it and kind of steps back for a moment. As he does, the Iron just pushes open the door. Like, the door is not locked. He pushes it open. And what you see in this room is this is a small bedroom. There is a cot. There is a chest of drawers. There's water all over the floor. There is a trap door in the floor. And you see this heavy chain running through hooks that have been crudely pounded into the floor. And this massive padlock is on it.
The Steel Defender will growl at the door and then look back at everybody.
And Father Donovich is standing there. The door is open. You can see the door. Please don't go down there.
Tell us what we would find down there. If you tell us what we would find, then we might be convinced not to go.
Make a persuasion check.
You gain nothing by keeping us in ignorance. Do not lead me blindfolded into battle.
I'll throw a guidance at you as well.
Thank you. I hope that's enough. And then I'll blink that.
There's a scary moment where you hear the voice of where Professor Gregor hears the voice of Diana in his ear, giving you advice and guidance on how to deal with the priest. Talking about tonality and soothing. But you turn and there's nobody there. But you follow the advice, and the priest steps into the room, sits on the bed, and he picks up a wooden puppet, and he holds it in his hand. It's my son down there.
Is he locked up?
And screaming in pain.
Hands are on weapons, by the way, when he asks that.
I'm afraid he's hungry. He wanted to be a hero. He thought he could make a difference. When these outsiders came in and said they could free us from the cursed one, he was the first to volunteer to help them. The only one to make it back.
What are these cursed ones?
He raises his eyes to the ceiling toward the general vicinity of the tower rising over Barovia. The Count.
Yeah, we've heard of him. He's the source of the problem?
He is. He is the problem. Yes.
How do we solve a problem like the Count?
He's responsible for the state my son is in now. And I cannot abandon him. Nor can I let him harm those who are nearby, the people of this village.
You say your son is hungry. What is he hungry for?
There's a lady selling pies outside. I can go wave her down.
I'm afraid a pie is not going to do it.
You can...
And as he says that, he pulls his sleeve back on his robe, and you see teeth marks in his arm.
Ha. And Vince is screaming in Rax's brain right now. And Rax is like, I know. I know. And so Vince's experience of like knowing what vampires are is translating into Rax knowing exactly what he's looking at. So Vince is like, okay, so your son is, Rax is saying, your son is drinking blood.
That is what he needs, yes.
Yeah.
And
Is there a cure for vampirism?
his eyes, as you ask that, his eyes drift over to the chest of drawers. And you see a sharpened wooden stake and a mallet.
Is there a way to
And-
cure him without killing him?
His son is already dead, Vince.
Okay, so you're subscribing to the idea that vampires cannot be cured because they are already undead. That is certainly a common interpretation of vampirism, and that might be the case here. I don't know. Vince is telling me a lot of things, and Rax isn't sure about any of them.
So you're keeping him down there because you're afraid to finish because he's a monster now? Or because you think you can cure him?
He's my boy. Gotta protect him. Even if he's... I have to have faith that something can change.
So what Vince is telling Rax right now, and Rax is saying all of this out loud, but so the priest might be a little confused as to why he's talking about himself in the third person. What Vince is telling Rax right now is that there are some vampire lores in which you kill the head vampire and all of the other vampires are cured. Is that something that's possible?
Father Donovich looks at you. Is that true?
I don't know. I just know that I have this information in my head, and it comes from lore from another world. And whether it's true or not I just don't know.
Can I make a religion roll?
You may make a religion roll, yes.
Guys, you know that we could just not go down there? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe we don't fight the vampire?
At first I thought we were freeing like some screaming child. I believe him and all of you. I'd be okay to leave it and not interfere. That seems like the smart idea. It just took me a while to get to that conclusion.
I think our ultimate goal is to take on the Count. And whether that cures the priest's son, I mean, that would be a nice side effect, but can't have vampires running around.
This one's locked up. But that makes me think of one quick question. Sorry, Father, you said another group of folk like us came in and went up against the Count and failed. And your son was pulled in by their story of heroism. And then he looks back at you guys and he says, look strong, look impressive. And then turns back around to the group and tries to look as impressive as he can, makes sure all of his weapons are shiny. And you actually see the steel defender like stand up and a little bit. He's like, were they as impressive as us? And I'm trying to find out like how powerful this other group was that was taken out by the Count on its own.
I am torn at the moment. Well, before I give you that roll, Father Gregor rolled a 17 on his religion check. What were you looking for, Father Gregor?
Father
were you
Gregor
hoping?
was trying to determine if any of that. Because the religion check here is, I think, not a measure of Professor Gregor's knowledge, but of Father Gregor's knowledge of vampires and cures thereof beyond their, is there a chance to return to a semblance of normal life, or is this he's dead?
With a 17, you have never heard of a case where a vampire the curse has been broken on a vampire. Your knowledge of these things would say that killing the vampire that spawned him would just allow him to be a free-willed vampire as opposed to a vampire thrall, which is most likely what he is right now. But you're also aware that you don't know all there is to know. You just know some stories, you've heard very little, and you're having this crossover between what did I see at the movies last week versus what did Father Gregor be exposed to. This is all mixing together with you. So, but what Vince Rax said is plausible to you. You just have not heard of a case where that has actually happened. Ivan, I need you to tell me, should we be rolling a performance roll as you guys are trying to fake it looking strong? Are we doing an intimidation roll as you're trying to make it seem like you can kick anyone's butt? Or are you doing a persuasion roll to try and convince them that you guys are a better group of people than the other ones? Which one do you think is the best roll for the group to make?
Group. I was going to say if it was for me, I would ask for something different. So we're all going to make a roll on the same thing. I would say
Yes.
Let's go with performance, not deception. Or
There was
persuasion.
such a big question mark with those eyes right there.
Well, yeah, you're right. I was thinking something different for Ivan specifically because his skill set isn't in the charisma wheelhouse. But if you're asking for like one roll for the whole team, I would say we're trying to perform at our best. Individually, we all roll?
Yes, individually roll and just give me your results.
So Rax is like, maybe we're kind of great.
So I got a 15, I got a 9. What else do we got?
18.
21.
Nice.
19.
18, 21, and 19. Those aren't bad rolls. You are trying to impress upon Father Donovich how impressive you are as a team. And I think not knowing what's going on in Father Gregor's head, but hearing Vince's words, hearing Ivan and the way you all stand, the confidence you have, your willingness to come in here and help, even when no one else does. He has that glimmer of hope. You help this old man restore his faith in a higher power. And then the smile fades. If we have to destroy the Count, that's almost the same as having no cure at all. How is it even possible? And with that, let's stop for today. We will pick it back up with your discussion with Father Donovich and what to do about his son